Hello everyone and welcome to Edusurg Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai and today we are going to conclude our discussion on intestinal obstruction in adults, and this video is going to focus on management. In general, the key steps that we follow while managing these patients, and then look at the indications of surgery as well as some tips and tricks on what we do and how we manage the intestines during surgery. So aim of the management, and we have already seen this 2 or 3 times, the steps that you need to follow when you want to diagnose a patient of intestinal obstruction. The first step is to know if there is obstruction. If yes, then is it small bowel or large bowel? And then look at the likely causes. And important point is to identify which patients need urgent surgery and which patients can be managed conservatively. So once you have followed these steps, the most important thing in emergency in an acute abdomen is, as always, the ABC protocol, that is look at airway, breathing and circulation. IV lines are taken, samples are taken based on the investigations that we want. We have discussed this in the previous video. A cross match is arranged, INR is sent. Fluid balance is the most important thing as these patients have a lot of third space losses. So fluid and electrolyte management, especially for potassium, magnesium, and calcium. Then you look at the acid-base balance, see if the fluid balance is taken care of. Remember that even in acid-base disorders, the first step is fluid resuscitation. All these patients need temperature, pulse, respiratory rate, blood pressure, and intake and output charting, nil by mouth, often a Rice tube, analgesia, and saturation monitoring. So TPR, BP, IO charting is a common line that you will see in the management of these patients. Nasogastric tube, like I said, for decompression, urine output, many times needs a Foley's catheter, and antibiotics if there is a suspected strangulation or complete obstruction because there is a lot of bacterial translocation once the patient is in complete obstruction. Once you have done this basic resuscitation in your emergency setting, then look at the three I's, as I say, the clinical history and examination or interview of the patient, investigations and imaging, that is the three videos that we have seen, identify the site and cause and look for signs of strangulation and ischemia. If none of these red flag signs are present and your diagnosis is a possible adhesive obstruction, then conservative measures as mentioned above can relieve partial subacute obstruction. It can be tried easily for 12 to 18 hours. If you know that it is adhesive obstruction, you can even continue this management for 1 or 2 days if there is no clinical deterioration. Coming to indications of surgery, we have known this dictum for a very long time in our books as well, that the sun should not both rise and set on a case of unrelieved obstruction. The dictum is that if there is strangulation or ischemia suspected, or complete obstruction, or failure of conservative management, obstructed or strangulated hernia, malignant obstruction, and closed loop obstruction, patients who do not recover on conservative management, all these patients need surgery. So, this is a very important list when to operate the patients on intestinal obstruction. Remember that if you have strangulation, ischemia, or a closed loop obstruction, you should not attempt conservative management. Coming to surgical management, the important principles are you look at the segment that is obstructed, look for its viability, look for the passability of the obstruction, identify the cause and nature of obstruction. You may need to do an operative decompression and suctioning of the proximal dilated bowel. Once this is done, your surgical options can be a laparoscopic open, a desolysis, or an excision of that part of the bowel, followed by a diversion stoma if the patient is not stable, or do an anastomosis, or you can do a bypass with a side to side anastomosis. Other options, if the surgery is very high risk or patient is very critical, can be an endoscopic decompression or stenting or operative decompression by a stoma alone. Once this is done, based on the cause of obstruction, your definitive surgery can be taken care of. Now, during surgery, once the obstruction is relieved, you need to inspect the bowel for viability. This is more common in closed loop obstruction or band adhesions. If the bowel looks non-viable, the indications are loss of normal shine, absent peristalsis, no pulsation in the mesentery, and green or black color of the bowel. If in doubt of viability, the bowel is wrapped in hot packs for 10 minutes and tell your anesthetist to give 100% oxygen. Wait for 10 minutes, then reassess for viability. Second loop laparotomy sometimes can be planned during the first surgery in patients who have multiple ischemic areas, and this is usually done in 24 to 48 hours after the first surgery. So these are some of the things that you can do during the surgery if you are looking at a bowel with suspected viability. So basically, that is how you manage intestinal obstruction. In this series, we have covered everything from definition to causes and classification to clinical features, investigations in a stepwise manner, imaging, basically the erect abdominal X-ray, ultrasound, and a CT scan, and then the management of intestinal obstruction in a stepwise fashion. Thank you.